Hari Om. Pravachan of Gurudev, Ved Darshanacharya, Sadgurudev Swami Gangeshwaranand Ji Maharaj Udasin on 9th August 1938. From the book Lekh aur Updesh in Hindi, compiled by Srimati Dhiruben Patel. Hari Katha Sunne Ka Labh. Benefits of listening to the tales of Hari. You have been listening to the sweet Leelas of Bhagwan. We can reach God through bhakti or devotion. In the Gita, chapter 8, Shlok 22, Bhagwan said, Hey Arjun, to the unmanifest, the imperishable, that Supreme Paramatman is attainable through single-pointed devotion. The meaning of bhakti is to serve, which cannot be done without love. This love has been divided into three parts: obligatory love, natural love, and universal love. Going on pilgrimages and to satsangs, serving the Guru and having faith in good people is obligatory love, for we do this on the insistence of parents, even if it does not interest us. From this obligatory love springs forth natural love. In this form of love, we are love personified. The rivers of East and West all merge in the ocean, as it is their natural trait to meet with the ocean. A moth or parwana has not been taught to love the light. The love between the moon and the partridge is also natural. This natural love comes after obligatory love, which in turn gives birth to universal love. The love between the moon and the partridge is of course natural, but yet the moon does not identify itself with the partridge. In universal love, this is not there, for in this kind of love, the lover and the loved become one. The Bhakt has the emotion of complete identity with the Lord. And when there is no difference and such emotions arise, we call it universal love. We can call obligatory love as the matric course, natural love as the intermediate course. But to become a graduate, we have to compulsorily study in the class of universal love. Let us now expand on obligatory love. The other name for this is Navdha Bhakti, that means the 9 types of bhakti. First, Shravanam, listening. Second, Kirtanam, praising the qualities and names of the Lord. Third, Vishnu Smaranam, remembering Vishnu or God. Fourth, Padasevanam, serving at his feet. Fifth, Archana, to worship or adore him. Sixth, Vandana, salutations, praise or obeisances. Dasyam, to accept being his servant or das. Eighth, Sakhya, to be his friend. And ninth, Atma Samarpan, to offer one's own Atma or self to the Lord. Shravanam means to be ever ready to hear the stories of the Lord, just as you are listening to me now. This is the first ladder of bhakti. Sometimes, just to please friends or parents, we go to the satsang without really being interested. At such times, the mind comes up with a lot of doubts and queries, and one often says it is really of no use to go to the katha. This has a befitting reply by not me, but Vyasdevji himself. During the katha, the Lord enters the heart of the bhakt through the holes in the ears. This brings impurity, just as Sharat Ritu clears up the impure water of the rainy season. As soon as the Lord enters the heart, all the sins start getting purified. While listening to the katha, the windows, that is ears, are open for the Lord to enter the heart, and that is the benefit. When a thief sees an open window, he is sure to enter. The Lord of the thieves enters the heart and starts removing all the vices of man. We can throw light on one more aspect here. During rainy season, the water in the lakes and rivers gets muddy, dirty and polluted. God, like the Sharad Ritu, immediately clears up the mind, that is, our sins. Our hearts are also impure as the muddy lakes. Do not consider the place where there is Hari Katha as the house of a rich man or just an ordinary place. Such a place can be considered as Vaikunt, the home of Vishnu. In such places or homes, the Lord comes and resides, and he does tell Narad, "Hey Narad, I do not stay in Vaikunt nor in the heart of the yogis, but I reside in places where my devotees gather and sing my praises." Such a place becomes the home of Hari. Where the following three conditions prevail, that place can be greater than heaven or Swarg. One day Narad met Indra after a very long gap, and so Indra inquired about his long absence. He invited him to heaven so that with his presence everyone could benefit. Narad agreed to come only if, firstly, there is a flow of Harikatha just like the Ganga, as he would be ill at ease without hearing the glories of the Lord at least once a day. To this Indra replied that there was no Harikatha in heaven, as only luxury-loving people stayed there. Apsaras like Urvashi bring forth sensual pleasures of Kamdev with their expertise. Secondly, Narad wanted to know if there were any devotees here who offered everything at the feet of the Lord. Indra had a negative reply for that also. Thirdly, Narad wanted to know if daily yagnas were there at least. Indra said that Swarg was a Bhog Bhumi, a place to enjoy, where jivas come to reap the fruit of their punyas gathered during their lifetimes. Swarg is not Karma Bhumi, as once the merits are exhausted, the jivas return to Mrityulok, that is earth. Narad was extremely unhappy to hear all this and refused to stay in such a place even for a day. Where the above three activities are there, it is but natural for devotees of Hari to gather. Tumburu, Hanuman, Sanak, Sanakadi all go to the place of Harikatha, but of course, we cannot see them. To a skeptic, this would not seem plausible and would wonder why they would not be able to see them. When we are not able to see the Jivatma residing in oneself, then how are we going to see these great bhaktas? This Jivatma can make one dance like a monkey, and one does not know the true self, as it is very subtle and deep within the recesses of the heart. These great devotees also come as subtle beings, Sukshma, to listen to Harikatha. There is no need to be surprised to know this, as it is beyond the realm of the senses. When Lord Ram was preparing to go to Saket Dham, all the people were ready to accompany him, except Mahavir Hanuman. He folded his hands and said, "Prabhu, I wish to live in this holy place where your Katha is held in all corners. Please bless me that I can stay here forever, and if and when the Katha stops, I would not want to stay here any longer." There is another mystery regarding the presence of these great devotees at the place of Harikatha. Usually people are busy in family life. First they want a son, then grandson, and then great-grandson. There is also an expectation of wealth, prestige and fame. Similarly, Sanakadi and other devotees also have a desire for something, and that desire is to listen to Harikatha. Hunger and thirst can be forgotten when gripped by the ecstasy of the Katha. Parikshit was a Chakravarti Raja, a universal king. He had the privilege of tasting all kinds of delicacies. This same person forgot all the pangs of hunger while listening to Harikatha from Shukdev. He did not want to miss even a second of the Katha, and he explains to Shukdev, "Bhagwan, I have not only given up eating grains, anna, but also water. But even then, I am not troubled by hunger and thirst." This is the result of listening to Harikatha, which is like nectar or ambrosia. Devtas do not drink nectar, but are satiated merely with the darshan of the Lord. I am drinking the cup of nectar, that is Harikathamrit, and so I am not troubled by hunger or thirst. This was due to the one-pointed listening by Parikshit. Can you also not enjoy the same? Surely, you too can enjoy the same, but only on listening to the Harikatha with total concentration. I am sure you are experiencing this now while listening to me. There is another doubt that can be raised. Sometimes people say that we chant Ram Ram or Krishna Krishna all the time, and are yet not experiencing any sweetness. Hari Katha is nectar, there is no doubt about it. And if we are not experiencing anything, that is due to our shortcomings. To explain this, let us take the example given by the great poet Harsh. He says, if we were to keep a piece of sugar candy on the tongue of a person running with high fever with pitta dosh, he would surely not get its sweet taste. Due to the vasanas or desires embedded, one is not able to know the difference between the worthless and the beneficial. Let me tell you an incident about a Devi Bhakt who procured a Chintamani, a rare gem, which has wish-fulfilling qualities. He did not realize its true value and thought of it as a mere ordinary stone. He was unhappy that even though he prayed a lot, he was able to get just an ordinary stone. He thought he may as well exchange the stone for marbles so that his children could play at least. The shopkeeper knew the true value of the Chintamani and immediately offered him 30-40 marbles in exchange. The Devi Bhakt was happy with the bargain, and the shopkeeper, of course, became rich and famous in no time. Some time later, the Devi Bhakt realized his mistake, but it was rather late. Dear brothers, remember, you too are wasting this body and birth like a worthless Chintamani. You are not trying to achieve the wealth of Bhagavad Prapti, and you shall surely repent later. A poet has commented on this. It is really sad that I have wasted my priceless life in the matters of the world. I did not realize my worth, just like that Devi Bhakt. Increase your love for the Lord and seek His refuge. Go to Satsang, listen to Hari Katha. I am sure in the beginning the Katha will seem bitter and not interesting, but slowly and gradually the nectar shall make a difference. Once having tasted the sweet nectar, you will not want to waste even a minute, just like King Parikshit. A child does not enjoy going to school in the beginning and somehow just completes his matric after feigning stomachache many times. Later, when he is really interested in higher studies, the relatives might say that they cannot afford the fees. The determination of the student persists even if he has to earn money by giving tuitions. A newly-wed wife does not feel comfortable with her husband in the beginning, but serves him with the encouragement of her in-laws. This obligatory love becomes natural love. Later, she automatically worries about him and is ever ready to serve him. Some people start off their bhakti practice only on the insistence of their guru. The interest is not there at first, but slowly and gradually the interest in Hari Katha just happens. In the state of natural love, the devotee identifies himself with the Lord, and there is no dichotomy. There is a Katha in Yog Vashisht. A devotee was carrying water and bilva leaf with the intent of praying to Shiva. At that time, he began to experience the height of love for Shiva, and he identified himself totally with him. He used the water and bilva leaf to do his own abhishek, saying, "Mahesh, my pranams to you. I bow to you, and I bow to my own Shiv Swarup. My Atma, that is the same as Shiv's. I bow to it again and again." A devotee loves the Lord as his own self. This love is called universal love. The rivers of knowledge, that is Gyan, and devotion, that is Bhakti, flow in the Prayag-like body of the devotee, and the three join to become Triveni, a confluence of three rivers. When we realize this, we do not have to be reborn and die again and again. It is my request that all of you strive towards attaining this universal love and become graduates. Hari Om Tat Sat.